Hello and welcome to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. It's Fred Staab along with Les Jackson. We are here, Les, as you know, to talk about cars, aren't we?
We do, and we like doing it. We've been doing it for many years. And, of course, there's never a shortage of stories.
No, that's true. And we're going to get started this hour with a couple of interesting things. One, Tesla is slashing prices, and apparently if people bought a Tesla a week or so ago, they're a little bit upset that, hey, you know, other people are paying a lot less. That would be upsetting, wouldn't it?
The bloom is
off the onion,
fading off the rose.
Off Tesla. The rose. Yeah.
So we'll talk about that. And meanwhile, speaking of money, the average vehicle payment has topped $1,000 a month.
Wow.
Man.
That is a lot of money. We'll tell you about that, and it's not a great trend. And also, we're going to talk about, I think this is a good trend, Jeep freshening up the Cherokee. Looks like they've done a lot to it. They've changed the powertrains around, but it's certainly trail rated still. I always love those shots where one wheel is hanging up in the back. Sort of reminds me of a dog taking a break, if you know what I mean.
A little bit. Fairly uncomfortable position there. And we're going to talk tech this hour. This time, batteries from trees. Yes, trees.
That sounds pretty interesting. A little bit easier than mining some of the other components of batteries. And I'm going to have an at-the-wheel review of the Audi S3 Premium. Great vehicle, beautiful. Can't go wrong with a red vehicle with black accents, and had a lot of fun in that. We'll tell you about it. This is the over 300 horsepower model because it is the S3.
Perfect.
Yeah, so exciting stuff. We'll talk about that and have a full at-the-wheel review, as we love to do on this show. You know, another thing about Tesla, Les, you and I have been talking about this, the weird trend in yoke steering wheels where they cut off the top of the steering wheel.
Right.
And Tesla kind of took the lead on that and started having it be the only steering wheel available on their S vehicles. Well, now, quietly, they've begun to offer a no-cost standard steering wheel option, if you will, on their S series. And boy, I would go with that instead of that dumb yoke, wouldn't you?
Well, you know, people are just getting, you know, they're demanding what they want.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Well, we will get into all of those stories, including the Tesla price slash. If you're going out to buy one, wait, because the deal might even get sweeter. On Cruise Control, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. Fred and I are raring to go. We've got our seatbelts fastened. And shall we take a trip to Tesla?
Why not, Les? Why don't you lead the way?
Yeah, I'm going to drive a different electric car over there because, you know, I want to get there. Well, anyway, turns out things at Tesla, sales-wise, are not going terribly well. They're going to slash prices up to 20%.
That's crazy.
In certain models. And that, by the way, that translates to as much as $21,000 off its most expensive vehicles.
Wow. That is
Um,
a big slap. Imagine if you
that
bought one last week and then someone said, "Guess what?
oh,
What you
oh
bought is
boy,
now 21,000." I would be a little bit unhappy,
I would be unhappy.
but I don't think they do anything for you.
Well, yeah, you can't. There's nothing you can do except be unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
But don't worry, because there'll be lots of other reasons to be
Be
unhappy.
unhappy.
Anyway, production's way down. Demand is way down at Tesla, even though it's way up at other manufacturers. The things are changing. The quality control is getting well known, or lack of quality control. So, what's going to happen? Is Musk going to lose money on Tesla? Well, yeah. I mean, he only started making a profit, 5 years ago?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
I still think someone could buy the technology.
Yeah.
There is technology there, some of which is good. Another manufacturer would know how to build bodies and cars and do manufacturing on the car part, how to make doors work, that type of stuff. Maybe they could do that. Maybe they could give someone a jump start into electric car production. What do you think about that? Could we
Absolutely.
see it?
And meanwhile, Tesla stock just keeps plummeting.
Yeah.
And of course, the share earnings per share are, I guess there's still something per share, but the market analysts are saying 30 to 40% below the current consensus. So not good.
Well,
Not good.
think about this next story that I'm going to tell you about. I drove EQS Mercedes this last week, and we'll have an upcoming report on it. And then I found this interesting article, and I want to apply this to Tesla
Okay.
I'll bring it back to Tesla. But this is from Reuters, and it says, there's a whole EQ product line from Mercedes to designate these are our electric vehicles. The EQS looks like a regular SUV. You wouldn't really know except there's some badging on it. But Reuters was saying that Mercedes is thinking about dropping the EQS nameplates as early as 2024 because it will be moot, because most cars will be electric. There'll be so many electric cars, there'll be nothing unique about it.
Well,
And that's where I think that might affect Tesla. It will no longer be unique. The technology will be old. The
that's right.
designs will be old. Will he have money to completely remake the look of the vehicles? He might end up with, like, basically he could sell the software and certain drivetrain ideas and patents and things, but I just think there'll be so many other choices of quality vehicles at all different price points.
And the other thing is, it is well known that Tesla is the worst quality control in the industry.
Yeah.
So bad that it's not even in the ratings with the other vehicles. So people are just going to be buying elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's when you build a better mousetrap, I guess the mouse goes and finds it. But we've been predicting this, and actually very surprised that it hasn't happened before now. But
yeah, well, I just think
things aren't good.
There hasn't been the level of EV adoption yet. A lot of that has to do with chargers and that. We have another story on that basically the U.S. needs 8 times more charging stations than it has now if it's to hit some of those, I believe by 2030 or 2035, the amount of electric cars that everyone is talking about. But there just haven't been a lot of options, and I think there are a lot more exciting options from all different price grades.
Very much.
Coming out, and it's going to be interesting. I mean, I think 30 years, you'll be like, yeah, this is sort of like the Tucker collection,
Yeah,
get together when it will be the Tesla
that's
convention. Yeah.
that's right.
All right. When we come back, we're going to get into what the average person pays for a new vehicle. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. Fred and I, we're going to get off of Tesla for a moment. Everybody knows what's going on, but money wise, people buying new vehicles are paying an awful lot for them. We've talked about this, that the average transaction price is close to $48,000, which
Jumped
still
so
staggers
quick.
me.
Yeah, so quickly. It was at around
Yeah.
35,000 for the longest time. And then it just
Went crazy.
hyperspace.
But the other thing is the car payments. People are paying more and more and more a month. Interest rates went up, so of course interest rates for car loans are going up. So 15.7% of new car buyers in last quarter have committed to a monthly payment of $1,000 or more. That's a car. It's not a house.
Right. It's not a mortgage payment.
No, man, I think I'd walk.
Well, it's interesting. I remember seeing I remember seeing a local news report. It was so stupid. They are like, and he's a struggling student, and they interviewed this guy. He says, hey, I have to make payments on 2 BMWs every month and be a student, and it's really hard.
Well, I am sure it is.
Hey, get a used car and
Has
pay
it
it off.
occurred to you? Has it occurred to you to get one Chevy?
Yeah, one Chevy, one used car that runs well, and pay it off, and then you don't have to worry about that.
Man.
So, it's like people are house poor, people are car poor, I guess.
Absolutely.
Right? I've heard people say, "Oh, it's great. I just lease it for $750 a month." I was like, $750 a month's a lot of money.
It just is a lot. Writing that check would just make me stop eating. Now, interesting. 5.4% of car payments are now used car payments are now $1,000 or more.
Oh man.
Used cars. So wow.
Well, and then also, according to Edmunds, consumers are putting down large down payments. The average new car down payment went from $5,921 in 2021 in just 1 year to $6,780. Now, many of our listeners, they always send us notes on all our social media, and they're like, you got to talk about the increase in prices. Let's face it, you and I have talked about this. Prices $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 are just thrown around like, hey, here's a loaf of bread, and a lot of these new vehicles are electric, and there's a high cost to pay for that. Eventually, I don't know eventually if these prices will come down or if the average price will swirl to $65,000. I mean, theoretically, it should, as more affordable batteries get in, economies of scale and whatever. But
remember,
are we headed just for these prices to be the norm?
Remember, with 11 million, or what was it, 2 million fewer vehicles
per
year?
Yeah.
Well, with the shortage of vehicles, the manufacturers can raise the prices. But when everybody's building vehicles again, the natural competition has to bring these prices back down or at least flatten them.
Well, the good thing is we've seen some manufacturers talk about the need for affordable cars. Affordable, I think, unfortunately, in this case, means in the $35,000 range,
Yeah,
which is not,
that's
small
still
change that you just happen to have in your pocket. Um, but I think you look to manufacturers like Kia that are doing some incredible things for good pricing.
yep.
One of the vehicles I was just in, that Nero hybrid, you can get into that if you don't get the top of the range version for high 20s, and you get 53 miles to the gallon. So things like that. The Chevy Bolt we mentioned. There's going to be more inexpensive electric cars. Not everyone wants to buy a $90,000 electric SUV or more.
Or a $60,000 pickup truck.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I think there will be more options for inexpensive vehicles, but you can get a lot of very inexpensive, affordable vehicles that get good MPG right now too. You just
Absolutely.
gotta shop
We
around.
have close to 300 different vehicles you can buy right now in this country. So, uh, do some research. But the other thing is used prices are coming down, and, that's a great way to go. But the other thing is, when you're buying $50,000 vehicle and getting 84 a month loans on these things, wow.
You're
I mean,
upside down.
maybe your payment isn't quite so bad. Maybe it's 500 a month or 400 a month, but it's for 7 years.
Yeah, I think I told the story about Big Johnny where I remember his wife saying, "It's all about what you pay per month." I said, "And how long you pay it for?" you know?
Yeah,
Oh, well, I made it 300 a month. Isn't that what you wanted? But you'll be paying for the next 10 years. Great. That's as long as I pay 300 a month, it doesn't matter if I pay it
well,
forever.
if you can put that into your budget. Another thing is leasing. This is a time to investigate leasing.
Yes, especially with technology changing very quickly. If you're really interested in electric vehicles, but range is going up, types of batteries are changing, new models coming on very quickly, it might be a good idea to lease. But be
Yeah.
careful doing that too. You can get caught up in many things in leases and
Well,
costs.
you can, but this is a time in our history that leasing can make an awful lot of sense.
Here's the scam I heard on leasing. Guy told me that he had a Kia. I didn't tell him what model, whatever. He went in. He said, "Okay, I want to buy the car out. What's the buyout price?" And they said, "Well, you have to take an extended warranty because the warranty doesn't extend to you if you buy it."
Oh, come on.
And he said, "This is BS." And I said, "Yeah, that is BS." I said, "They're just trying to sell you an extended warranty on a car that already has a warranty.
Yeah.
You know, it's like buying two insurance policies. I don't, you just, it's," I said, "That's just them wanting to rip you off and take a lot of money from you." And
That's all it is.
eventually, he called Kia, and they cleared it up and said, "No, the warranty continues on, and that's up to you if you want to buy an extended warranty or not. You don't have to."
Mm.
So he didn't, and I'm sure he's happily down the road. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on at Jeep. They have released some information on their Jeep Cherokee for 2023. Big news here is your power plants. No surprise here. They've done away with the V6 power plant. Your options are a 2.4 liter in the Altitude Lux 4x4 model, 180 horsepower, or in the Trailhawk, you can get a 2 liter turbocharged 4 with 270 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. Boy, those Corvette owners from the 80s would have loved that. 270 horsepower.
2 liters.
2 liters. What's interesting is they have a way of cutting out the all-wheel drive system, which is new, so you can reduce energy loss. You have the 9-speed automatic. The rear axle disconnect is what I'm talking about for energy loss. You can shut that off when you don't need it, but these things are still very trail capable. They have standard select terrain traction control with 5 customized modes. There's up to a 51-to-1 crawl ratio for low range traction, and best in class towing, 4,000 pounds, which you can tow yourself a nice little travel trailer with that. So.
Yeah.
Hey, when we come back, we're going to continue on this journey around the automotive industry on Cruise Control. Plenty more coming up, so stay tuned. Fred Staab, Les Jackson. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We hope we've been giving you some good information about vehicles this show, because prices are getting pretty high, and you got to go into those dealerships ready to go, armed with knowledge, and that's what we're here to do, right, Les Jackson?
Absolutely. We try to tell you everything we can. We try to give as many tips as we can, but the dealers are always a couple steps ahead. They're like magicians, it's the sleight of hand with your money.
Yeah,
that's right. Your money does a disappearing act.
That's right. You've been complaining about carrying around all that money in your wallet. They'll help you out with that.
Absolutely.
Well, let's talk about something completely different now, and let's talk a little tech. And one of the things, it's sort of, people talk about electric cars. They are cleaner in a sense, but there's still always a price of environmental concerns and
toxic
labor
metals,
concerns and
heavy metals.
Yeah, it's sort of like a. Have you ever heard the NIMBY term? Not in my backyard.
Right. Exactly.
So that's kind of what it is. Like, where it's okay, but it's as long as I don't see it. But one of the big problems of electric vehicles is when they have to mine the components to make the battery. And over in Finland, how often do I say that on the show? Over in Finland. Yeah. Over in Finland, they are looking into using lignin.
Lignin. I'm actually very familiar with lignin, being a woodworker.
Yeah, and this is the glue that holds wood together, basically, right? Not something you put in there like oriented strand board. It's the glue that nature makes, right?
Yeah, it's actually a polymer. It's a carbon compound, which is why they're looking at it for batteries, because the anode in batteries is typically carbon.
Right, and to make carbon, you have to burn a lot of. Apparently, when it's manufactured in China, they burn a lot of coal to make it, In this case, you would just forest trees in a responsible fashion, I would imagine, and
Right.
extract the material, right? And I believe, isn't it a waste product of making paper?
It
Yeah.
is. It is. They get rid of the lignin at the paper factory. That's what smells so bad
Uh-huh.
at paper factory. If you've
Sulfury.
ever been by a paper factory,
Yeah, it smells like sulfur.
it's unpleasant.
So this could be used, something that they're just dumping, or I don't know how they get rid of it right now, but this could be used to make batteries. Interesting article. This appeared in BBC, and I thought, what a great way to recycle something that would just be waste and eliminate pollution at the same time. Seems pretty smart,
Absolutely.
and you probably can make some money out of the deal. If you're a paper manufacturer, you can say like, well, I'm not paying to get rid of this stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Someone's paying me to use it.
That's the perfect business, to where you can sell the waste product because somebody can use it for something else. It's just ideal.
Ideal, ideal. All right. Well, we'll stay on this, and I definitely think more people are going to examine these things, and think about how, as I always said, if you want to clean something up or if you want to fix a problem,
Hmm.
think about the business end of it too. Like we talk about the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. What did they do? They made these standards crash standards, but they made these standards important to manufacturers so they could sell more cars by making them safer,
Right.
and building their cars to spec to hit these crash. So to me, that's all good. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's
Well,
all good.
I really believe, and as you know, I'm quite skeptical about our ability to solve uh, global climate crisis. But if it's going to be done, it's going to be done with technologies like this that use waste products that don't create pollution. And I think we're in the beginning of a new industrial revolution
Interesting.
for energy production, for things like this. And it's going to be really interesting to see.
Okay, a big gear change here, Les, but we've been known for that. Not a great start to 2023 for car guys like us. Of course, we lost Ken Block to that tragic snowmobile accident. But also this week, Jeff Beck, great rock and roll
Yeah.
guitarist from the 60s, was in the
Yep.
Yardbirds and did tons of things. Two-time rock and roll Hall of Famer. I always knew he was a car guy, but I just, not unusual to be in rock and roll and like cars. Um, we've had Billy Gibbons on from ZZ Top. Totally, it's a common thing. Somehow they're connected for sure. I think it's because guitars look like they're moving when they're not,
Well,
like
yeah,
cars
and
do too.
yeah, there is a connection.
Chrome, cool colors,
Yep.
power. They exude power from their sound. Well, anyway, Jeff Beck died suddenly. Actually, he had meningitis, I believe, which is terrible. But he was a total car guy. He says, and I can relate to this story. In 1953, Beck's parents took him to London, and his father was desperate to keep the restless 9-year-old happy, so he bought him a copy of Rod and Custom magazine, and he was immediately hooked. He said, I couldn't understand why there were all these chrome engines. I always thought engines were dirty. I realized this needs some looking into.
Yes.
That's a great. But I remember my dad buying me a Hot Rod magazine. I thought, oh, this is
Yeah.
cool. Look at this. Look at these cars. Look at these race cars. Um, and this was from an article, I believe, in the UK GQ from a number of years ago. He did a lot of his own work, and he was friends with Eric Clapton, and he showed up somewhere, and Eric Clapton said, oh, look, it's my new Ferrari. And he said, that's okay. But he said, anyone can buy one of those. not really, but
Yep.
but I have a hot rod here, and I build
Any one of
those.
them can.
He said, "You build these things. You don't
Yep.
buy them. You build them." And he would actually do some of his own welding, some of his own body work, which is unusual for a guitarist because you don't want to, be cutting away on some metal and hack your hand up, right?
Well, that's true. I share a lot with Beck there. My feeling all along, and as you know, I've built a lot of cars, is if you didn't build it with your own hands, it's not really yours.
Yeah. I think he had like 30 different cars. He had hot rods. He liked
Yep.
period correct hot rods. And it was funny. He was at a roadster show in L.A., and his girlfriend then was with him. And a guy came up and said, "Oh, I want to use your girlfriend on my calendar to, pose with the cars." And he said, "Get away from me unless you've got a 5-window 32 Ford body
Wow.
to sell me." He goes, "Actually,
Good
I do."
for him.
He said,
There
"Actually,
you
I
are.
do." So I think she did the photo shoot so he could get the 5-window 32 body. But I don't know how that worked out. But he also liked Corvettes. He had a bunch of different Corvettes. He had a '63 split window that he bought, I think, around the Yardbirds time, and he restored that. And he had, I think he had a C6 Z06 too. So he was a true car guy. Would have been a fun guy to chat to, I bet.
Yep. A lot of guys. There's the guy from AC/DC who's a super
Oh
car
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Angus.
Well, no, Angus is the guitar player. You're talking about Brian, the singer.
Oh, yeah, Brian. Right.
Yeah, who lives in Florida and drives his blower Bentley down to get the mail.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, it just goes together for some reason.
Yeah.
But hey, we're gonna miss Jeff Beck. He actually drove these hot rods around too. So
Yeah, scary way to die.
Yeah, yeah.
Bacterial meningitis, and it hit him really fast.
I mean, for all intensive purposes, he was playing gigs and
Yeah.
out there a lot. He was 78, which is relatively young, but too bad the passing of Jeff Beck, guitarist and car guy. So unfortunately, that is just another loss in 2023.
Yeah.
When we come back, we're going to switch it up again. We're going to talk about the Audi S3 Premium at the wheel review time on Cruise Control. Stay tuned. And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine at the wheel time. We got a real hot rod here, the A3 Premium, S3 I should say. A3 is the regular 201 horsepower version of this vehicle. The S3 pumps it up with a 4-cylinder turbo outputting 306 horsepower at 5,450 RPM. You think about that power level, Les, from a 4-cylinder turbo. Years ago, that wouldn't have your V8s wouldn't even hit that, would they?
No, they wouldn't. Boy, it just must make owners of those things feel really bad.
Well, let's talk about this. A beautiful, beautiful Tango red metallic vehicle. The interior, they've just gone over the top with this. This is the premium rating. It's got that diamond kind of pleated interior seating surfaces, stitching everywhere, bolsters, just absolutely beautiful. The dash is a nice mix of high tech, and then actually you have switches and controls, actual physical controls. Thank you, Audi. I like that. I think it's great. The shifter is just kind of this little, almost light switch type of thing, easy to use, and very, very, very low form factor. Out back, decent rear seating room. Once again, beautiful interior, beautiful upholstery back there, and good room for passengers. Out back, also, you've got a real trunk. This is a sedan, a little storage area there, and nicely finished off. Even though the arms for the trunk lid come in, they are nicely covered, so they're not going to get caught on anything. Battery in the back, just an air inflator, no spare tire. Beautiful, beautiful under the engine bay. You know, I know it's dominated by that engine cover, but it's just beautiful. 306 horsepower, as I said. 7-speed S-tronic transmission is what the power flows through. This is a traditional sedan. Yes, it's got a boot in the back and just a little bit of a lip spoiler. And, of course, the S3 badging. They've gone over the top with the interior, though. Just a beautiful detail, and really, you know, making this vehicle something special. This is a 2022, actually, but it was completely redesigned for 2022. It comes really nicely equipped. A lot of safety features: electronic stabilization, electronic vehicle immobilizer, front and rear parking sensors, has pre-sense front forward collision warning, all the safety systems that you would think it would have. Then ours, of course, is the Premium Plus package. That includes adaptive cruise control, alarm system with motion sensor, Audi Active Lane Assist with emergency assist, Audi Advanced Key, Audi Side Assist with rear cross traffic assist. Really important to have that. That helps in the world of large SUVs and trucks, and you have a sedan. It just goes on and on and on. The list goes on and on and on. Sirius XM 360, wireless phone charging pad. Then ours had the technology package with Audi Connect Plus and Audi Navigation Plus and Audi Virtual Cockpit Plus. It had the 3D sound system and traffic sign recognition. Ours also had something called the Black Optic package, which is 19-inch double-spoke edge design wheels, summer tires, black exhaust tips, which were really, really stout-looking, black exterior mirror housings, black roof, which I really like on a car, by the way. A black roof, I think it really sets it off. A lot of people were wrapping their roofs on existing cars, and I kind of like that. It kind of looks cool. It also had the fine Napa leather package, the carbon structure inlays, and the Napa leather seats with the diamond stitch. S Sport package with red brake calipers and sport suspension with damper control. I think the Audi engineers did a great job because even though we're rolling on a little bit larger 19-inch wheels, Audi's always, in my estimation, done a great job with suspension. It could be stiff, but not like ridiculous when you hit a bump and think like the struts are going to come through the hood. They've always engineered it. They've always not just said, hey, we'll put stiffer shocks and springs on it. It's been engineered to be comfortable yet sporty, and I think they've done that again here with the 2022 Audi S3 sedan. Now you're going to pay for this, and let's take a look at this.
Yep. Well,
you are going to pay for this because the base price of the Audi S3 sedan. All S3s have that 306 horsepower engine, up from the 201, I believe, which is in the A3, which this vehicle is based on. So the base price of the S3 is $44,900. Now, onto that, we've added a number of options that I've kind of gone through, and the total price, including a $1,045 destination charge, is $55,890.
Ooh.
So that's pretty
Ooh.
beefy. You know, for a performance car with 300 horsepower, mileage is not that bad. 32 highway, 23 city for an aggregate number of 27. How do the parts break down? Well, 60% German, 1% from Canadian or U.S. sources. Engine comes from Hungary, transmission from Germany. Ingolstadt, Germany is the final assembly point for this. So you wonder how they can ship that car from Germany for $1,045 when you're paying the same thing for a vehicle built somewhere in the U.S. There's a
It does make you wonder, doesn't it?
It makes you things that make you go if you remember that song. Once again, I do like that Audi has not taken the same tact as Volkswagen has with eliminating all the controls. I think that was just, for me, the Volkswagen GTI was a disappointment because that's what Audi has not done that. They have the switch gear and that. It's just a high-end premium car, really, really a standout vehicle with that leather interior. I'm a big fan of the diamond stitch. I don't know about you. Do you like that? It reminds me of the old insulation
I like it
in aircraft.
Yeah, I like it in the right color.
Okay. Black. That's the color you
No,
get.
no, a lighter color is okay.
I have to say I'm kind of partial to red cars with black wheels and black interiors. I think it's kind of a no-miss combo. But this one, as I said, was the Tango Red Metallic. I don't recall it looking that metallic, but I guess it was.
It doesn't look metallic in the pictures.
They've gone all out on the name for the interior. They say the interior color is black interior. So there you have it. But I know you're not a fan of black interior, but I do think this one looks nice. So if you're looking for a traditional sedan with lots of horsepower and lots of luxury on the inside, this might be for you, the Audi S3 Premium Plus. So it's something to think about. It's a little ripper, as the Australians would
It's
say.
a little stormer.
A little stormer. And you can keep kind of a low profile in it, too. You know, if you didn't get red, you could really it could kind of be a sleeper, don't you think?
Yeah.
You know, red, as they say, arrest me red. You're not going to get it, fly under the radar with that. But that's our At the Wheel. Plenty more At the Wheels coming up. We've got a lot of great cars and trucks in the pipeline. So stay tuned to Cruise Control. Check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com. Time for me to say I'm Fred Staab.
I'm Les Jackson.
We're going to see you down the road.
Bye.